"So, Mairéad," said Richard. He shrugged off his coat, a thigh-length navy barber jacket, and hung it on the back of the bar stool. "That's an Irish name, isn't it? Are you Irish?" Wait, stop. Interesting. He'd got her name right. Mairéad, not Mairéad, not Mairéad, but a confident Mairéad. Was she Irish, though? Mairéad was so surprised Richard had pronounced her name right first time that she almost told him the truth, which was this. "No, my mother is a career activist. Anti-apartheid, CND, Greenham Common, Stop the War. I'm sure you know the type. My sister and I were born during the Troubles, nowhere near Ireland because that would make too much sense. But Mum was fanatic about it all. So I'm named after Mairéad Farrell. You won't have heard of her, but she was a big deal in all that. Mum's pin-up. Get this, my full name is Mairéad Mandela Boudica Alexander. My sister is called Dolores Joan Cujo Alexander. She calls herself Lenny, but that's a different story." She didn't say any of this. She knew from experience that this was too much for a first date. There was a danger of eyes glazing over, or widening, or cutting left and right. Instead, she said what she always did, which was, "No, I think my mother just thought it was a pretty name." "Some of those Irish names," said Richard. "Phew, with all the flourishes and the crazy spellings, you know." "Yes," she said. "Yes, I do." For this date, Richard had chosen a chic bar in town. It had flattering low lighting, pretty chandeliers, and a sophisticated cocktail list. Not just margaritas, but spicy margaritas and fresh herb garnishes on everything. While Mairéad had waited for Richard to arrive, she'd caught her own eye in the antique mirror behind the bottles of spirits. Since turning 40, she found that what would come back from mirrors and photographs was a bit unpredictable. Sometimes it was Florence Pugh's older sister, and sometimes it was Miss Trunchbull. This evening it was the Pugh sister, with very expensive blonde highlights. She took a sip of her drink and batted her eyelashes at herself, but then missed the bar with her elbow and splashed some spicy margarita in her eye. So, Richard knew how to pick a venue. Yet in he walked in this flapping barber, like he had just come in from getting a sheep out of a ditch up the lane. The pockets looked heavy with things. And it was June. Yes, it was a cool night, but it was June. Who wears a very large barber in June? She was bothered by the barber. She was also bothered when Richard said, "And how about you? No bambinos?" Bambinos? What a stupid question. Richard must know, because this date is a setup, that she has no bambinos. She knew before agreeing to meet him that he has 2 bambinos. Not on him, although he could probably fit a bambino in each vast barber pocket, in amongst all the other things. But they live in Hampshire with their mother. Perhaps, before the divorce, which she also knows about, when he was living in Hampshire, Richard really did have to get sheep out of ditches up the lane while wearing his huge barber. Yes, he must know that she has no bambinos, because Cass, who has set up this blind date, will have told him. But of course, he will be curious as to why. No one ever wants to know why people have children, only why they don't. Mairéad used to rage passionately about this injustice, but now she regards it with the blank, don't-care face of a bored horse. "No bambinos for me," she said. She was 2 sips into her second margarita, and it was delicious. "I had other things to do." Like her pat answer to, "Are you Irish?" her answer to "Why no children?" had been honed and refined over the years until it was distilled into a droplet of fierce efficiency. Through trial and error, she'd found that "I had other things to do" was the response most likely to make people shut up about it. But was that what had happened? Had it been other things? She wasn't even sure of the exact truth anymore. She closed one eye and looked at the ceiling. She was a bit drunk now, and her thoughts slithered about. The barber jacket was terrible, and bambinos was a nightmare. But Richard was actually rather seductive.